As published on nondetail.com.
Are you hearing those marble sounds, chair dragging sounds in the night? You are not alone. In 2020, as most of us were stuck at home, a man living in Hougang called the police 80 times because his neighbor who lives upstairs has been allegedly repeatedly dragging his chair against the floor. The neighbor, however, denied making those noises, claiming that he has put rubber paddings on his chairs and table. Even Mr Tan Chuan-Jin received a bone-chilling complaint from one of the residents in Marine Parade back in 2017, saying his neighbor upstairs has been dragging chairs, but it turned out that there was no one living above him. Almost 80% of Singaporeans live in HDB flats, which leads us to wonder if this is an HDB issue. Moreover, it's been revealed in a poll that 1 in 5 people living in an HDB flat has heard marbles dropping at night. Back in 2005, someone wrote into the national newspaper to seek an answer. However, HDB said that it could be due to the neighbors and that we should continue to be civil to our neighbors. But how about the case mentioned in Marine Parade, where there was simply no neighbor? And the Hougang case, whereby the neighbor denied making the noise and had rubber padding on their chairs. Someone else on social media wrote, "Every night in my apartment in Nice, I heard the sound of marbles rolling across the floor upstairs." Or perhaps they were pins being hurled to the floor. Or maybe the building, my apartment, where Matisse once lived, dated from 1830, was haunted by the ghost of a child who loved playing marbles. Alyssa Schwartz lives in an apartment in Toronto, built in 2001. "I don't think it's just in France," she said. "I live in a condo in Canada and have this, and last week, when I was in Florida, someone was complaining to me that their upstairs neighbor is always rolling marbles. I feel like it's a really common building sound." Eileen Smith, who used to live in an apartment in Washington, D.C., dating from the early 1900s, agreed. She reported a sound like pins or jacks coming from the ceiling. "I swore my upstairs neighbors were playing jacks, and they were 2 male recent grads. It seemed a very unlikely activity for them," she said. Hong Kong resident Andrea Low said while she was living in an apartment dating from the 1980s on Hong Kong Island, she'd initially wondered if the sound of marbles and pins in her ceiling had a supernatural cause. "I had a conversation with my friends who also experienced these noises in their apartments. This happens to so many of us in Hong Kong. We'd all thought we were living in haunted places until someone brought it up," she said. Some apartment dwellers have come up with less supernatural theories for the sounds they hear from above. Well, don't worry, there's no ghost in your apartment. Here's why you hear those sounds. The sounds are actually made from the pipes. In fact, hearing that sound means your apartment has working water pipes, so you can sleep well at night without having to worry about waking up to water flooding your apartment. Actually, the sounds happen because of a phenomenon called hydraulic shock, though it's more commonly known as water hammer, which occurs in water pipes when water flow is suddenly cut off. Andy Piaczek, a scientist with the Acoustical Society of America, suggests that these sounds might be coming from trapped air inside water pipes. As the water flows away or as the air dissipates, the sounds that happen might be altered as it moves through the building. According to Professor Preston S. Wilson from the University of Texas, if there are pipes running horizontally in the space between your ceiling and the floor of the apartment unit above you, Once someone somewhere in the apartment building rapidly turns off a tap or flushes their toilet, the water hammer effect causes the pipe to move from its usual position. This change in pressure rattles the pipes and creates clanging sounds, which will sound like marbles dropping as the sounds pass through concrete walls. The pipe bounces back up, falls back into place, the sound occurs and the cycle repeats a couple of times, though there is less force each time. Soon, after a few cycles, the force is too small to rattle the pipes, so the sounds stop entirely. Besides water hammer, hearing marbles fall might have to do with air bubbles being trapped in the sanitary pipes running all throughout the apartment building. A sudden change in water flow because of water mixed with soap bubbles will create air pockets that will burst and echo through the pipes. However, this usually produces only a single sound. Since we've clarified these weird sounds, we hope it helps you sleep better at night now. Besides, in this digital era, ghosts don't play with marbles anymore.